Well, this is good news and bad news. I mean, it depends on how this all plays out, considering Nissan will soon be bankrupt. But anyway, Nissan is saying, you know what, you want an EV, we'll ship you on a Chinese EV, meaning we can undercut probably most global brands. And I'm saying what's happening here is they're going to start selling their EVs, which we all predicted would happen, that they make in China. In fact, Nissan don't make them. I believe Dongfeng make them. Anyhow, they're going to start selling those EVs outside of China. So guys, Australians, many other countries, you're going to get this new EV. It's actually pretty good. It costs 16,000 US dollars in China. Might end up being about 40,000 Australian dollars in Australia. I don't know about the US. I don't think you guys are going to get it unless you want to try and buy one through Mexico and get it through the back door that way. Get it through the back door. Anyway, hello, my friends. Welcome to the channel. I'm Sam Evans. Great to have you with us. Thank you to our YouTube members and Patreon supporters. I couldn't do this without you. Dongfeng, or I should say the Nissan N7, the Dongfeng N7. Anyway, that's apparently going to be exported from Chinese factories to Southeast Asia, the Middle East, and other countries beginning in 2026. This is going to leverage Nissan's existing after-sales service network in these overseas markets. Basically, they've cancelled many of their car projects, because they've run out of money, and this is the other option. Just rebrand Chinese cars, which is what this is, and sell them worldwide. I actually think it's a really good idea, and I've been saying for years I thought that global manufacturers should do this. So this is really a desperate move from Nissan, but actually a good move from Nissan. The struggling Japanese automaker is currently reviewing its global production footprint. It's closing lots of factories. There's different numbers floating around, but I think they're going to close about 12 factories worldwide, possibly more than that. They've cut their staff enormously. They've fired 10,000 staff. They need to turn the company around. This is one way they can do it, to sell EVs that they don't actually really have to make themselves. Their joint venture partner in China makes them. So really, it's a pretty good deal for Nissan, I think. The N7 is a mid-size sedan. It starts at 16,500 US dollars. It's actually made in Guangzhou, and that's where XPeng are located as well. Now, what Nissan are doing is, obviously the software for these cars, these EVs in China, has to be changed for global export. And the Chinese car makers are used to this. BYD does this, XPeng does this, Zeekr does this, Geely does this, Polestar does this. But the legacy automakers are not used to this. So this is what Car News China said. The N7's automotive software incorporates AI technology from Chinese companies. To facilitate exports, Nissan will need to modify the software specifications due to restrictions on Chinese-made AI products in some countries. To develop software for export markets, Nissan has invested in IAT Automobile Technology, a Chinese developer. In other words, Nissan's brought in an external developer to help them with the software to make it obviously westernized and English and whatever languages are needed in that, whatever locations, but also to whatever needs to be changed to meet local regulations when it comes to full self-driving, those sorts, I mean, not full self-driving, but self-driving, those kinds of things. Nissan actually believes, right, that incredibly well-priced EVs from China, manufactured in China, will help save the company. And they plan to introduce other EVs and plug-in hybrid vehicles in the Chinese market, and potentially, it sounds like, sell those globally as well, including their first electric pickup truck by the end of this year. If they can nail that, there's a big market for that. There's so many people asking for an electric pickup truck outside of the United States, and there's just nothing really available yet anyway. Now, I should point out that Nissan, like I said, they're firing a lot of staff, so their production capacity has gone down, closing all these factories. What they're doing is relying on Chinese companies to essentially help them out, so they don't have to have all these staff on their books. Speaking of staff, though, while I said they fired 10,000, they're actually firing a total of 20,000. So they've got 10,000 more to go. And what they're doing is they're saying they're going to consolidate 17 factories into 10. So how good is this EV actually? Well, it's pretty good, surprisingly, or not surprisingly considering it's not made by Nissan. It actually got 10,000 orders within 45 days, which is not amazing for a Chinese car company, but Considering it's Nissan, that's actually quite good. So 10,000 orders in 45 days. The reason I say it's quite good is because the Chinese don't perceive, obviously, legacy automakers as being good at making electric cars. They think that's a specialty Chinese thing. They've got a point, right? Pricing, though, is a big part of the reason why they got so many orders. $16,500 for what is a fairly big car. It's 4.9 meters long. It's nearly as big as a Tesla Model S. So it's quite a bit longer than a Tesla Model 3. It comes with one motor, 200 kilowatt, which is 268 horsepower, and 635 kilometers of CLTC range. So probably about 530 kilometers of WLTP range. Considering that range and that power, for $16,500, it does seem like an absolute bargain. The N7 actually has 20,000 pre-orders. Well, by the time it went on sale, it had 20,000 pre-orders, and Nissan actually delivered 10,000 of those within 45 days. That's incredible for a brand new car, a brand new electric car. Obviously, Dongfeng have done a really good job at, well, production, streamlining it, getting it up to speed so they can deliver a lot of cars as quickly as possible. Comparing that to the similar Mazda EZ6 or the Mazda 6e, that's Mazda's electric car that's being sold in China. That sold only at 1,821 units in May. So delivery of the Mazda EZ6 has been a big problem for Mazda, whereas obviously the Dongfeng Nissan hasn't. They delivered 10,000 in a single month. Well, not a single month, but 45 days. So they've done extremely well. So what are the actual specifications of this car? It's 4,930 millimeters long, 1.9 meters wide, and it has a pretty big wheelbase. It's about 2.9 meter long wheelbase. Apparently, it has a drag coefficient of 0.208, which is obviously completely made up. But anyway, it's quite aerodynamic according to the company. The interior looks pretty basic, but I mean, for $16,500, I think the design looks actually quite nice. The design on the inside and the outside looks quite nice. It looks a lot like an Xpeng, which is interesting, kind of strange. But anyhow, inside you get a 15.6 inch 2.5K or 2,500K screen that sits in the center console. It's got a 2-spoke steering wheel, and there's a gear shifter. I like the fact that these Chinese EVs have gear shifters at the steering wheel. They're just so much easier to use than traditional transmissions. Other features, there's an LCD instrument panel right in front of the driver, 2 wireless phone charging pads, 50 watt each. So it's pretty fast phone charging. It has a driver assistance system co-developed by Dongfeng and Momenta. So the driver assistance system should be pretty good considering Momenta have worked on it. Momenta are well known for their quality driver assistance systems. 2 powertrain options, right? The base level model comes with a 58 kilowatt hour lithium iron phosphate battery from Sunwoda, one of the smaller battery companies in China. It's still pretty big, but one of the smaller ones. It sends power to the rear axle, 160 kilowatts. So that's the base model, 160 kilowatt, 215 horsepower, 58 kilowatt hour battery. And that range is a bit less. It's more like probably about 450 kilometers WLTP. Now, the more expensive version, it's not much more. It's actually only a few $1,000s more. It gets the 73 kilowatt hour lithium iron phosphate battery. And that's the one with the 200 kilowatt motor and the range of around 520 kilometers WLTP. Performance, 0 to 100 in 6.9 seconds. Guys, for this price, I mean, there's only really one rival to this car, I think, which would be the Xpeng Mona M03, which has sold quite well too. You can imagine both of these cars selling really well at these prices. But we could have very affordable electric sedans on the market, which I can see crushing the Toyota Camry. I can really see cars like this going mainstream, not just in Australia, not just in places like the Middle East and other locations where they're selling it, Southeast Asia, but also in places like Europe, even the United States. You can see how cars like this are the future. Electric cars with more than 500 kilometers of range for $17,000 that have this kind of power, and interiors that actually look nice. It's a big car. This is not a small vehicle. Amazing. But the question is, if Nissan do go bankrupt, then what happens to your car warranty? Who's going to cover it? That's the only problem I see with this car. What are your thoughts? Let me know in the comments.